What's up, everyone? Welcome to the archive. Today we got the Down Squad. Thank you guys for being here.
Yeah, thanks for
having us.
Yeah, for sure. So the first thing I want to go into is just, I guess, introduce yourselves first.
I'm Allie BR, lead singer. I play guitar sometimes.
I'm Shannon. I play guitar.
And we got two others that are...
Yeah, we have Sherry Peterson. She's a bass player. And then Wesley Johnson is our drummer.
Yeah.
So the Down Squad, how'd you come up with the name?
It's funny. It started as have you ever heard the term bro down? Like, I'm going to go bro down. It started as girl down because we thought it would be like a funny switch because you never hear that. And then it kind of just somehow transitioned into the Down Squad. I don't really know exactly how it happened.
We just kept going over names.
Yeah,
and
we just kind of wrote stuff down and it just turned into that.
And Girl Down, you kind of as much as we are very pro ladies, Girl Down can be something suggestive too, and we kind of thought maybe we should go with that for a girl going down. Yeah. So we thought maybe we should come up with something a little bit more family friendly.
Yeah.
And we're a tight knit group of friends, so we kind of said the Down Squad.
How'd you guys all meet?
So we met Wes almost 3 years ago now. Our original bass player, his name was Dustin, and he moved down here from Minneapolis as well. And he and Wesley worked together, I think. And then he just came over one day and started jamming with us. And we're like, keeping this guy. And then Sherry, we actually met at a show. I think it was our second or third show. She plays in another band with her brothers called Vein Therapy. And they were playing after us, I believe. And we really needed a bass player because our original bass player moved back to Minneapolis. And we just kind of asked her to fill in for a couple gigs because we had some shows coming up. And then it was a perfect fit.
Yeah.
She just stuck right in. So
Nice. What about you guys?
We met up in Minneapolis. We moved down here together from Minneapolis about 6 years ago. And there was a school up there that we met each other at. And then we ended up working a lot of studios together up there. Allie, before we started doing the band thing down here, we were both working in studios for many years.
Nice.
So...
Like just doing what at the studios?
Producing, mixing audio.
Oh.
And engineering stuff.
It's good stuff to know.
Yeah, we did that. We did that for about 5 years up in Minneapolis before we moved down here. I've been doing it for about 6 years down here, and Allie is more full-time Down Squad right now, but also works in the studios and stuff like that once in a while.
That's awesome. So do you track and do everything for you guys there?
Yeah.
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 It's nice. Convenient.
It's nice.
It is super convenient.
It's when you can do it yourself, yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah. So the first single was Misery, and that came out in 2017.
Yeah. Look at you.
Yeah.
Did your research.
Yeah.
I almost forgot we did that song. Yeah. That's actually a cover song by
Soul Asylum.
Soul Asylum, yes. We just thought we should do a cover song right off the bat.
Oh, nice.
Something that people know.
Yeah. I was saving it for later, but you had a couple other cover songs. You did Misfits, Nirvana, and Joan Jett.
Yeah. We like to bring out covers once in a while. It's funny. We're definitely not a cover band. When you come and see us, you're gonna hear all originals, maybe one or two covers kind of thrown in there just for fun. But it's a cool thing to kind of go back and reflect from your influences, and really get something out of that.
Yeah.
So it's fun to throw one out there every now and then.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It keeps it fresh, and then people just enjoy covers, I feel like. So
yeah,
they like it when they know something.
Yeah, you bring it out at a live show, and then they get wild, and then for some reason I feel like that transition happens. They're like, okay, this band's cool, they like this song, and then they'll get more into your originals,
Yeah, I feel like we get that when we play Hybrid Moments by the Misfits. Like, people are like, I don't know, and then we play that, and they're like, all right. And a lot of times if I see people singing that song, I'll just run out and give them the mic for a verse, and it makes people really excited.
Right.
Plus, it's also another thing when you see a female lead singer come out, and you actually have never seen wear a Misfits shirt, but if someone has a Misfits shirt, well, everybody at Abercrombie and French has a Misfits shirt. But if you come on and do a Misfits song, then the people that are true fans go, oh, shit, these guys know what they're doing. So, works out.
They actually know this band.
Yeah.
So, and you track drums with Tom.
Tom Reschke.
Yeah. I didn't want to say the last name because I knew I got it wrong.
It's a weird name.
Yeah. So how was that and just the drum tracking process?
Tom, for the first album, was, first of all, he's an amazing drummer. He's here in Nashville, and I'm going to butcher his band's name, but he's part of a Louisiana, New Orleans style band that plays all the world. It's funny. They play in Europe, in like France and stuff, and they'll pack houses, 3,000-4,000 people, but they play more modern music with this kind of band, and he's a good friend of ours, and he came in, and we didn't have the band at that time. We didn't have Sherry and Wes. It was just the two of us, and we recorded the first EP before we ever formed a band.
Wow.
And just kind of figuring stuff out. So Tom was nice enough to come in and help us out, and it was great to track Jones with him. He's fantastic.
Yeah. So Peace, Love, and Riot's was that the
Peace, Love, and Riot music?
The first one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that came out into 2017.
Yeah.
You did a release show.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, December 19th
at Springwater.
Actually, I think that was the end.
Was it the end?
Yeah, because. Yeah.
She is so much better to remember where we played.
Like, a weird thing about dates. I can
tell you who we played with.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
Another good skill to have. I feel like. Yeah. So how'd that go? Was this like the infancy of?
Yeah. That was actually our second show ever, I think. So.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. We're kind of known for our stage antics as well. Especially this one. And
that's all it gets a little wild.
And when we were just starting out, it was kind of funny to look back at now because I remember that show at the end, halfway through it, Allie spilled a couple beers right on the stage, right in the middle. And of course, everyone in the crowd can't see that. And she ends up, we always say if Allie's not in the air, she's on the floor. And doing that show. And I remember her looking down for a second right before she went down into the stage. And you could almost see the splash when she landed from the beer flying up in the air. So I was like, it was pretty impressive even for me. You know, I'm trying to not pay attention, act like it's all normal for me. I'm like, girls going for it. That's awesome.
Talk about being immune to the coronavirus. I've rolled on some floors.
Yeah.
That
you're solid.
Pretty. Yeah.
That's your anti-vax.
Some nasty stages.
Some gross stuff.
Yeah. That's cool. That's punk rock.
Yeah.
You gotta do it. So Hybrid Moments was in April 2018.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then I wanted to talk about the Fementine's Day Massacre show.
Oh yeah. So that actually started last year. We just set up a show at Radio Cafe, which is closed now. I don't know if you've ever.
We played there once, and it's like where they have the seats.
Yeah, right? The old school
tiny.
Fold-up seats.
It's a cool vibe though.
It was so great. So we set up a show there. It was just gonna be like a show with my friend Becca Neighbor and then our friend Aurelia, all female fronted acts, and they're like the two of them are completely different from what we are, and I thought it was like a cool mesh of genres, and we just kind of decided to make it into a thing. So we gave it a name. This year we did it again, but we did it with 8 bands, all completely different genres again, and then all of the proceeds went to the Sexual Assault Center of Nashville.
Yeah, so you donated it was $350 you raised.
Yeah, that's right.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It was really fun. It was really cool. Everybody got like 20-minute sets, really quick turnover. It was a really fun show. It was awesome.
That's crazy. So you think it's going to be a yearly thing that you want to...
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good idea.
For sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It really showcases women too. It's always women singers for the bands. And there's guys on stage too, which is great because it just gets everyone together. But it really showcases the women. And so that was the main point of it first before we ever decided to raise money. And then when Allie said, let's raise money, and on top of that, it gets cooler and cooler.
Yeah. I know. It's like, how do you make this even better? Like, let's do it for a good cause.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah. And that's good marketing too, because then people come out and that's just... Yeah, I saw that and I was like, that's really cool.
Yeah,
awesome. Thank you.
Respect. So you were featured on Female Music Nation.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
I don't really remember exactly this. I follow this like a bunch of different girl groups on Facebook and stuff. And this lady posted that she was just gonna feature a different girl like every day for a while. So I just reached out and she contacted me with a couple questions and sent her a few pictures. It was really
nice.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. Mm-hmm. It's a good way to kind of get out there too.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, so I always say that female fronted is not a genre, but do you feel like it ever gives you an edge? Like, cause it's cool?
Yeah.
Like,
I try to get away from using the word female fronted, even though I just said it like 17 times.
Yeah, but I know what you mean. Yeah,
we should normalize women being in rock bands or any kind of bands or just musicians. Like, you shouldn't be like, oh, there's a girl band. It should just be like, hey, there's a band. Like, it's cool that there's girls in it, but it doesn't have to be the front part of it. You know, they sound good. They're a band, whatever.
I feel like it's getting more popular nowadays too. So it is becoming more. It's like there's so many great bands of, you know.
Yeah.
In Nashville, too.
Yeah.
Lately. You could see in the last 6 months in this town, more and more local bands have female singers, and there's more rock bands with female singers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot popping up right now. It's really cool to see all these new bands coming out.
Yeah, one of my good friends, he's in Rome Zoetta. I don't know if you've heard of them, but it's female fronted. And they were the first ones, but then ever since I, heard them, then there's been so many more that's coming around.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then the podcast, I feel like we've been doing female fronted for the past like 3 episodes. So it's really cool.
That's great.
It's not a bad thing, man.
Yeah, no, for
keep
sure.
that up.
I think it's really cool. That's why I always say like female front. Everybody's like, oh, it's this female fronted genre, but it's like you said, it's just a band.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I think from kind of being in a female fronted band, one thing that you kind of see though is the difference between all the bands. We are a lot of Allie writes. We might get this later, but Allie writes all our lyrics and most of our songs for guitar wise before the rest of the band ever sees it. And so a lot of our songs are socially influenced. Well, how would you say that?
Yeah, like
social issues.
Social issues and like awareness and whatnot, and like
female issues.
Yeah,
So we kind of border a lot of different genres, whether it's the Riot Girl, punk girl, all this kind of stuff, rock music, everything. But it really kind of falls. Our music usually our songs have some kind of meaning behind it that's kind of really right up that alley too. And some bands that have female singers don't do that, which is great. You can sing about whatever your art is. That's awesome. But it's just like one of those things where you can definitely tell different genres of female singers as well.
For sure.
Yeah.
I was going to go into this later, but I saw you guys shared it as noun Riot Girl. And then, so a member of a movement of young feminists associated with aggressive punk style rock music.
Yeah.
That's right.
So is that like actually, are you, what's it called? Coining the term, or is that
no?
So this is one of my favorite things to talk
about. Go into it. Teach me.
He's talking.
Sorry about that. Oh my gosh.
So Riot Girl actually started in the early to mid 90s, and it was kind of started over this band called Bikini Kill. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. You should look them up after. They're awesome. A girl band, and they kind of rose out of the grunge scene. But people started calling it Riot Girl because all they sang about was, female things like being molested, sexual issues, sexual harassment, and it was all just like female empowerment. And it was like girls to the front was their slogan. They would say that all the time because it shows girls would get pushed back to the, and guys would like push forward, and they would say, before we start, girls to the front. Like all the girls come to the front of the stage, and it kind of just turned into this whole movement. Like there was zines, and there was like, all sorts of different bands kind of were influenced by this, and it just kind of became a thing. So really it's Bikini Kill where Riot Girl started, and then it just turned into kind of any girl band that sings about being pissed off and being a girl is kind of where it came from.
What, Riot Girl started like late 90s?
Yeah, I want to say kind of early mid 90s, like 94ish, 93.
There's bands like Bikini Kill, L7.
Yeah, pretty much all the, like even Hole kind of got lumped into that for a minute. Any band that had a female singer that was loud and angry was kind of considered a Riot Girl, and I always thought it was just like the coolest thing ever. Like you can tell I get super passionate about it.
Yeah.
Just, like it sounds cool, it looks cool, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you feel like we've made things are getting better? Like 26 years later?
Yeah, there's definitely improvements that were made, but I think that women still are, oppressed, and I think there is still a lot of issues, and I don't know, we're getting there. We're getting closer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. And I think I know a lot of people rebuttal that it's not fair to have women come to the front and like, cause it pushes the men back. But I think, not to get super controversial on this episode, but I think that it's showing that there's when you do stuff like that, it's showing like this is what you guys always get to do, and here's our chance to have this experience. You know, it's like, so I don't think it's fair when people are like, well, if you want equality, you can't say only women to the front. But I think that's a smart thing to do because it's showcasing just the difference of, you know, because usually the women have to be in the back as the guys are for normal shows.
They're like shoving around.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Girls can't just stand there and watch a show. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I think the end result that we're seeing today from that happening 26 years ago, because the women to the front, that started, as you said, like, 25 years ago. And today, we went and saw the Distillers just recently
Love
in
the
town.
Distillers. I didn't know they were still going.
Oh, they just started touring again.
Wow.
About a year or two ago, and we saw them in, I want to say, was it the summer? The summer they came to the Basement East.
Yeah.
And it was just insane.
And that was, inside that pit was so much fun, but that pit was 50% guys and 50% ladies in the middle of that pit, having fun, being body tossed, and everyone's watching out for each other. But being able to say 25 years ago, ladies to the front, slowly everyone kind of meshed into each other, and people watch out for each other.
Yeah.
Because I'm an old school metal guy, and I remember being at Pantera shows, and you might see one or two girls up there, and everyone's kind of watching out for them. Everyone's cool, but the amount of women that are now in the pit and up in the front row and having fun, it's kind of normalized for everybody today. The younger generation sees that, and it's very normalized. But they don't understand that 25 years ago that wasn't a thing.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So we're getting there. It's a slow process.
Yeah.
Slow
but-
process.
Which is unfortunate. Shouldn't be a slow process, but yeah. And then you guys got to play in Chicago last
Yeah.
year.
Yes.
Yeah, how was
Yeah.
that going out and
Oh, it was really fun. It actually, I remember the weather here was really nice, but it was like, there was like a blizzard
That's the
up there.
worst.
So we drove into the blizzard. It was like, and it's funny, our bass player, Sherry, she's from Georgia. So she's never really been in snow like at all. And she called us in the morning and was like, do we need to like postpone the show? I don't know if we can drive up in the snow. And the three of us were like, no, we're good. Because our drummer Wesley's from Oregon and we're from up north. So like, no, it's just a little bit of snow. We'll be fine.
Yeah, if it's less than 2 feet, we're going.
But she
So-
was like terrified. Like, I don't know about this.
it's like how everybody is here when it's
Yes.
snows like a
Yeah.
quarter inch. They're like, shut everything down.
We're like, no, we're going. We're gonna play. No,
Got this.
the show was awesome too.
Yeah, it was really
it was
fun.
a great crowd. Fun to see an actual rock crowd that's just built in. No matter what band's coming through, we played with some great bands that night, but they were all there for us as much as the other bands, and we just had a blast.
Yeah, Chicago has a really cool kind of old school rock scene. They all just kind of support everything. It's just really unique up there. It's really cool. A lot of old like rocker dudes from the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Get wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's what you
Yeah.
need. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I feel like I guess going into the stage presence thing and where you pick that up, and because if you have the energy on stage, I feel like it translates to the crowd. Do you see that
Yeah.
ring true?
For sure. I've always been really inspired by like Joan Jett, obviously, because she's like the pinnacle of like feminist rock and roller. And one thing that she always did was like she'll just lock eyes with random people. Like her eyes are just really intense all the time. Like she wore the big, the smoky eyes, and her eyes are just always like open. Like some people put like sunglasses on, and like that's cool or whatever, but there's kind of a disconnect. I feel like eye contact and intensity just really like adds so much to performance.
Props to being able to do that. When I'm on stage, I'm like, do it.
And that's fine. It's cool to like, vibe out and do your own thing too.
Yeah.
But
It's
just
way
my-
cooler to lock eyes with somebody.
We also started like that kind of intensity that she ramps up a ton. When we started the band, we just all looked at each other and we said, when we're playing on stage, we're moving at all times. And we got to keep the energy up for the whole show. And that's something that I see other bands are great bands, but just they're all staring at their feet.
Yeah.
And like Allie, like if there's you have shows where everything's packed, and you have shows where there might be a little space in front of the stage. Allie's the first person. Like I know if we ever see a little space in front of the stage that's empty, I know for the entire show it's gonna be me and Sherry on the stage because Allie's gonna be in the crowd singing out there. It's like if you don't come to her, she's coming to you.
That's awesome.
And so it's like, I'll know right away, because if we got a packed house, Allie's gonna be on stage. She's gonna bump into me. She's gonna fly into me. I'm probably gonna be smacked around, all that kind of fun stuff. And then if we have a little room out there, I know that it's gonna be me and Sherry running around on stage, because Allie's gonna be out there most of the time.
Yeah, that's
maybe
amazing.
for the beginning and the end of the song, she'll come up by us.
I usually like to find a chair and have someone like make sure that no one sits there, and then I'll like, if he is doing a solo, I'll just go sit there and like pretend to be part of the crowd. I'll do all sorts of like goofy shit and throw stuff. I just love to like fuck with people.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's great. So like all the other girls EP that came out in what's the 8th month? August?
August. Yes, it is. Yes. You're doing well this morning.
Yeah. I'm trying. But talk about that and releasing that. And
so the title came from the track Boy Scouts on the record. And basically Boy Scouts is just about gender norms. I honestly wrote it about myself when I was 9 years old. I just wanted to be a Boy Scout.
I was going to ask about that, yeah.
Because they got to go camping and they got to like do all sorts of cool stuff like the little derby car races, and like all we did is Girl Scouts or Brownie Scouts or whatever the fuck it was called. We just like did crafts all the time. And it's like, that's cool. I like crafts, but I also want to go camping.
Right.
So it just seems so much cooler to be a Boy Scout at the time. I think it's a little bit different now, but that's kind of what the whole thing is about. So we just sort of centered the EP around that idea.
Yeah, that's great. And then you had some lady gang box in it.
Yes. Yeah, I just got, so we had Sherry, our bass player, obviously, and then our drummer's wife, Samantha, and then a couple of our friends just come over and we drank some wine and beer and just did the background.
Was Aurelia part of that?
No, she wasn't there.
Okay.
Yeah. Did the background vocals for Boy Scouts. So you can hear it in the choruses, all of us shouting. It turned out really awesome.
Yeah.
Actually.
That's wild. Yeah. So you do all this stuff at like the studio?
Believe it or not, most of that album was recorded in our apartment.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We went to Lee Beverly's place, a good friend of ours, for the drums, and we've recorded a lot of stuff at his place, and in the past, for us and other people. But we did the drums at his studio, and then literally all the guitars, all vocals, everything was done in our apartment. Right in our living room.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you got the equipment, as you know, you guys got some great stuff here. You know that like you can go record in a world class studio, but if you know what you're doing, and if you got the equipment at home, you can get the same sound at home.
Yeah.
So
it's true, man. It's wild now.
It's more comfortable to do it at home.
It is. That way. You can go at your own pace. You're not feeling like
a lot less pressure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
She kicks me out of the house when she does vocals, though.
Yeah, I need to be alone.
I get it.
I have to be in a dark room.
Yeah.
But you can do it all yourself, so that's nice.
Yeah.
Our vocalist, Huff, if you're watching, you son of a bitch. Learn to do it.
Get on it.
Yeah.
I can teach them.
There you go. Come over to our place.
I'll show you.
That's right. I want to talk about your skater strat.
My skater strat.
Oh, yeah.
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 That's fun. It's actually, believe it or not, that the strat that's been kind of my calling card for this band is that skater strat, and it's not even my guitar, it's hers.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've been playing guitar for a long time. We got a bunch of guitars, but that strat was just something that she's had around, and it's kind of funny. I've never been a huge fan of strats. The necks are so thick and stuff, more like a baseball bat, but this one's got a nice thin neck on it. It's got a cool humbucker and stuff, and it just kind of fit our style. And she's like, throw some stickers on that thing. And I obviously love skateboarding and skate culture, and I still skate. And I'm an old school skater kind of guy, you know, Powell stuff.
Shout out.
So we just, you know, I started throwing some fun skate stickers on there, the stuff that I still skate, and it's just, you get a lot of compliments on it and stuff, but it's a cool guitar.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. Unless you break the A string right on your very first hit at the Valentine's Day Massacre. Literally
right
the first downbeat. The string went bong, and I had to play the rest of the show with an Ibanez, but yeah.
Oh, man.
So.
Should have just kept it. Be like, we don't need that string.
We made it through the whole first song.
Yeah.
We made it through the whole first song without it.
That is the worst. It's always my biggest fear. It's like, even if I just change my strings, I'm like, it's going to break.
Yeah, sooner or later. They all do.
So and then the down squat skate deck.
Oh
Yeah.
I actually made that as I think, was it a birthday gift or a Christmas gift for him?
Yeah, one to like Christmas.
I made it online. I just kind of put our logo and like our first EP cover on there, and just did this cool like fade out design thing. And I kind of want to make some more and like raffle them off. Or
that would be
something.
sick
'Cause
merch
people got
or
really
something
excited.
too.
They're like, "Are you gonna make more of those?"
She actually made it as to be my for my foot pedals, and so it's supposed to be my pedal board. And but the funny part is what some people come up to us after shows, and they kind of looking around to see what pedals we use, because as you know, you go to most shows, everyone wants to see what effects you're using, and they come up looking for the pedal boards. And after shows, people always come and go, "Dude, what pedals are you using?" And we don't use a single, like as of right now, we don't use a single pedal.
Yeah.
We got our 2 amps, and that's the distortion we go with. We don't really switch it up because of the style of music that we play. So that's
we kind of
we lock it in, and that's what it is.
Found one tone that works, and we just rolled with it, because we like, our songs are dynamic, but we're not doing a lot of like clean channel things and stuff like that. So we don't really need a lot of pedals right now. It's just not necessary for our sound.
And it's expensive.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but you know, if we fell in love with that, I play through a PV Classic 50, and that amp is just screaming, and we just love the way it sounds. And she plays through.
It's a 90s PV Ultra 112, and it's got a different speaker in the back. It's an Invader 50 speaker, but it's still a tube amp, and it's kick ass.
Yeah, so the combination of those two on stage just kind of kills it for us. And we just, like, if we don't want to ruin that sound by adding something to it that doesn't need to be there.
Right. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right. We might throw a couple pedals in there every once in a while, but we just don't really need like 12 different pedals. We just don't need.
She'll go out write a whole album now where I'm gonna have to have pedals.
Yeah. Do some rock opera thing.
So I was gonna say, I saw this podcast. You didn't use pedals. There's 5 of them.
Yeah.
But
PV Electronics shouted you guys out on their Friday.
Yeah.
It was actually a picture from the first Valentine's Day Massacre at Radio Cafe. My friend Braden took it, and I just posted it on Instagram a long time ago. And I like to just tag random stuff in pictures. Like, I've been trying to get a shout out PBR sponsorship for a couple of years now, so I'll just tag them and stuff. And I tagged PV randomly in that picture, and they messaged me and they're like, "Hey, can we use this?" And I was like, "Absolutely, use whatever you want."
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to be recognized by them.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And PBR, that would be a good one.
Yeah.
Man, all I want is an alcohol sponsor.
Oh yeah,
It would be so nice.
You know how much money our band would save if she got a PBR sponsor?
Yeah.
I just love PBR. I'm like ridiculous. I always have one on stage.
They're really not bad. I don't know why people talk shit.
I don't know why they
I think it's
great.
because the whole hipster culture kind of, people get into it like, oh, if you're drinking on PBR, you're a hipster. Like, no, I just...
Yeah. It used to be white trash, so then they just took it. So
Yeah.
It's cheap and delicious.
Yeah.
We want it back.
Yeah, right. But it's nice because it's always on tap everywhere you go at all the hipster joints now. So
For like
it's
$4.
I get so excited when it's on tap.
Yeah.
But I love tall boys. I'm all about the founders.
It's either like IPAs or PBR, and I can't do IPA.
Or like
so
Hams now. Hams is coming back, which is weird.
Yeah, my cousin does. He dresses up. He's got like a weightlifting belt and puts like cut out PBR thing and made a mask and everything. He calls himself the PBR man because he plays in a band too, and that's like his stage persona.
Oh, that's amazing.
He's got to get up to, I'm from Wisconsin, and we went up to Wisconsin, and we went to the old PBR factory where they still have a PBR gift shop.
Yeah, it's like a museum kind of.
Yeah. And Allie we spent her whole paycheck right there.
I made a price limit. I was like, I can spend this much. I was actually really good at that.
Yeah.
I did a good job.
She's got a little thing that she blows up so her PBR can float in a pool.
Yeah, it's like the blue
ribbon for
floating.
yeah.
Oh, it's just like actually made for PBR.
Yeah. It's like a little beer.
It's like a
floating
PBR
thing.
merch store, pretty much.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like a
That's
gift
wild.
shop, like little museum thing. It's pretty cool.
So you gotta tell him to go there.
Yeah.
He'll get everything he
he's gotta
needs.
check it out.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
We need to just open up one here, license it out, and then you can get your sponsorship.
Yeah, perfect.
Right.
Hey, we have this thing here. Now you should just sponsor us.
Right.
Perfect.
Yeah. Oh, and then the dicks that you draw on your on.
Yeah, so I usually just do it for Sherry's set list, just to remind her when to go to drop D, because there's a couple songs that like only she goes to drop D for, and she is kind of forgetful sometimes. So it's just kind of a little note, just like, hey, you're in the D now. And it just sort of became this like funny joke. And now if we don't play a drop D song, she gets really sad. So I'll draw like a little sad dick with an X through it. And it's like this little
drop D.
giant joke.
Wait, so she plays in drop D and you play in standard?
There's a couple songs.
There's a couple songs where
she'll be drop D and I'll play in standards. Actually, the way that we play Hybrid Moments, we do that. The original, he's just up on the A string on the D, on the 5th fret on the D. But during the original, but we wanted to get kind of a lower, darker feel out of that, especially for the recording. So she'll go just all the way to a drop D on the low E, which is low D string. And but I'll stay in standard the entire time because I don't go to that drop D.
Right.
And so when we had to come up with our set list, we got to kind of work around that. So if we're going to play say one of our other songs, like Shit Song is in drop D. So we'll make sure Hybrid Moments is before or after Shit Song. I think what else is drop D?
New You.
New You is also in drop D. So like those songs are kind of usually
to be
by each other.
strategic.
Yeah.
That way we're not just switching guitars a million times or
like
tuning
all
and
the
stuff.
time.
Yeah.
That's great. It's
So,
smart.
That way if you hear one of those songs, you know that Hybrid Moments is coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the future hold? What are you guys planning on? Is there any new music coming out or?
Yeah, so I have a bunch of like demos that I recorded, just like shitloads of songs. So right now we're just in talks of recording a new EP. We got a single coming out that we've had for a while, just haven't dropped it out yet.
You can say what it's called.
It's called Real News. It's actually a really good time to release it with all the stupid political shit. It's very political, but
Hell yeah.
yeah, just releasing some new stuff.
Yeah, we're thinking about going. Actually, we were talking last night about it. We're talking about being back into the studio probably in the next couple of weeks to start the new album. And we already been playing a couple songs live that will probably be on it. But she has... Girl's always writing. So I don't know how many songs you have ready right now that we're going to go through and try to pick 5 or 6 from and drop an EP and then probably pick another 5 or 6 for the EP after that.
Yeah.
And just start trying nailing them out as we're trying to play this through the summer. But we're really focused on a lot of gigs yet this year at the same time. So it's going to kind of mix and mesh between the two.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. So the controversial shit, like, I guess it's very punk rock to do that and speak your mind.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
I want to hear, because I guess for us, I'm always scared to dive into that because I'm a pussy. Yeah. But so just talk about like, yeah, I know, just the not giving a fuck what people think and just speaking your mind. And has that always been just you? And
yeah, I obviously, like, my whole entire background is punk, and it's funny because everyone else in the band has kind of a different, like, we don't really call ourselves a punk band. We don't really know what we are, but I'm very punk.
Yeah.
Like, he's kind of metal. Our drummer's, like, alternative, like, grunge. And then Sherry, our bass player, is very just, like, rock and roll, kind of, like, Kiss, like, very, like...
She's
uppity.
like Dream Theater, Rush,
like, very cool,
progressive
like, rock
music.
stuff.
Yeah.
She's just, like, the epitome of rock and roll.
She's the true musician in the band.
Yeah, she's insanely good. And I'm just kind of this, like, punk kid. And I've always looked up to people like Henry Rollins. And, like, I just think he's like, the epitome of fuck you, do what you want. And, like... Johnny Rotten from the Sex Pistols. Like, I've always just had this, like, yeah, fuck you. I'll say whatever I want to say kind of thing. That's just always been me.
I feel like it grows a stronger bond with people, too, because obviously when you align on views, people are like, oh, it goes back to, like, oh, you're cool, okay.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, and I never want to, like, I never want to shove our opinions or my thoughts into people's brain, but I just want to tell you what I'm thinking. It's more like, I think this, whatever. You should think, too. Like, just think whatever you want, you know? But don't be afraid to say what you're thinking.
Yeah.
I also want, like, I like the fact that we can say not really controversial things because I don't think we look at them as controversial. We just look at them as she says, like, we're putting something out there that we believe is our art and also what we think and what we think needs to be out there. And people, and very happily, people relate to it, you know? And so they're kind of coming out and seeing us more and more, which is great. But when it comes to, like, we're never scared to say something. We're not scared to put something out there to talk about stalking. Like, we have a song called Imagination that Allie wrote, and it's just a brilliant song about, and sometimes it's that gray area. You're at a party, and as guys, we've all been there one time in our life of, hey, that's a cute girl. And you walk up to her, and she starts talking to you, and you're like, hey, maybe she likes me. Or maybe she's just being nice to you. Just because a girl's nice to you doesn't mean she wants to hit it with you. And so that's what that song kind of comes around to is you gotta be more aware of your surroundings and who you're talking to and everything around it. So it's okay to talk about these things. It's okay because people relate to them. And if you play it safe, if you're scared to say the word fuck or cunt or something like that on stage because you're afraid you're going to offend somebody, every time you say one of those words with a meaning behind it that people can relate to, that's where people get behind you. And they're not offended by the word. Because who gives a shit? It's a word.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's why you're saying it. It's, everybody can jump on stage and scream the word fuck. But why are you saying it? What context is it in? That's where people go, oh, that's just not a curse word. It's an intelligent, use of that curse word.
Meaning behind it, yeah.
The context of the curse word,
Yeah.
And I, like, a lot of times I just sing in just a sports bra and, like, jeans, and I'll write stuff, like, on my stomach. Like, my drummer's wife will like, come up with a new thing to write. And I, a lot of times, write my body, my choice. And the first time I did it, I was kind of like, I hope, like, people aren't mad, or I hope people don't freak out at me for this. And it actually was really, really well received. People were like, oh, that's cool. Even if they didn't necessarily believe that, they were like, oh, cool that you did that and said that. Like, it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Believing in beliefs, I guess.
Yeah.
Supporting your beliefs.
Supporting your beliefs, supporting your causes, getting it out there.
Yeah.
Because we do live, like we said before, we lived in kind of a fucked up time right now where, there's a lot of separation between people, and it's okay for you to believe one thing. It's okay for me to believe another and her to believe yet a third thing. But yeah, we can all sit around and have a conversation and be friends and not, have that divide just because we believe in different things.
I feel like that's the thing that we're missing a lot these days is people just can't talk about their opinions without getting defensive and be like, fuck you,
Right.
And offended.
Yeah.
And to be able to sit there and with her writing, my body, my choice, someone that's pro-life is going, oh my gosh, well, that's okay. You can say, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You have the right to your own opinion.
Say, oh my gosh, too. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Right.
all right. We can have different thoughts about things.
Yeah.
It's okay.
For sure. Yeah, that's great. I love it.
So we play with what we believe in, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And then I want to go into, we touched on it a little bit, but so punk rock, metal, just kind of your influences and how meshing it all around. You spoke about Distillers earlier, and that was kind of like the first thing that popped in my head when I heard your voice, especially on the first EP.
Thanks.
That's one hell of a compliment.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
And I love Distillers. I was like, all right, it's cool. It's got that.
Yeah, Birdie's so cool. Her voice is so awesome. I'm definitely influenced by her and the Distillers and all of her other projects that she's done, like her solo stuff and Spinneret. Like, her voice just has this really cool, dark, angry timbre. And I've just always admired that, because a lot of bands, like especially in the 90s, like Veruca Salt and stuff like that, they have like a really high-pitched, nice voice, which is really cool, but I don't. Like, I have a low, growly man voice. Like, I can't sound like that. So Brody is like a perfect example of like a growly man voice.
Yeah. I think our influences, like my influences, I'm the old man of the band. We got the young punk girl, we got the old man. Our drummer's more the guy, badass that you don't want to get in a fight with. And then we got the musician, which is our bass player.
We call Wes the enforcer.
If someone's walking away from my guitar, Wes is going to grab him. And, it's fun because like my background is old school metal. I know you guys are more metal. And we're talking like Suicidal Tendencies, Anthrax, Megadeth, all the big four, Testament. I grew up on that kind of stuff. And then it just kind of, but later on morphed into things like that are a little lighter side, like Jeff Buckley, and who I just adore his writing style of it. So to kind of mix it all in, when she writes a song and she comes back and gives the guitar parts to me and Sherry being this great musician, she's going to add that melodic bass stuff underneath it. And I'm just going to play the shit out of it as I can, and I might make it a little heavier. I might, change a little bit here and there, and then, but with Sherry having the influences of the progressive rock style, she always says that her favorite bands are the bands that she could listen to a guitar solo for 25 straight minutes. I can't, but
yeah, she loves that kind of like instrumental stuff.
Yeah, and then with that beat that Wes puts, that powerful beat that Wes puts behind it, behind that kind of metal and punk and melodic, and just forms the Down Squad somehow, and that's just what we kind of came up with.
Yeah,
we're not trying to be somebody else,
right?
You can't be the next big thing if you sound like everybody else.
Well, and it's funny, people are like, "Oh, what do you guys sound like all the time?" Before they see a show, and I'm like, I don't really know. I don't really know how to explain it to you. You just have to listen to it and see it, because there's no real, like, you could say, oh, we sound like this band or you look like this band, but we have so many different influences and things that make us us that's like, I don't really know what we sound like. I don't know.
That's
just
good.
Rock and roll.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I always just say. People are like, what genre are you? Like rock, metal? Like, you decide.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Whatever you think. I don't know.
Yeah.
You can throw this in there. We used to put the punk side of it a lot. And there's some bands around here that consider themselves punk, and we're like, you rock.
Yeah.
And stuff. But that's okay. Label yourself whatever you want. That's cool. That's on them. But we used to have that punk label on top of us. But then we started looking for a bass player. And we started interviewing some people. We'd meet for coffee before we'd even jam with them. And nice people, some scary people. But we noticed there was like guys with swastikas on their hands. And, we're just like, oh, shit. Like, that's not the kind of punk we are.
Yeah, so we kind of dropped that term for a while just because it was like we were attracting kind of scary people that we weren't. I mean, anyone can listen to our music or whatever, but it was just kind of like, oh, no, we don't believe in that stuff. Like,
yeah,
you can believe whatever you want.
Is that what punk rock's associated with now?
No, it's not.
It's just like a Southern thing.
Oh.
It's like an old school, like, skinhead thing. Like, there's so
and not Southern States thing. It's just more of you just see it in larger cities and stuff. Like in Nashville's, we didn't know Nashville was one of them because we started meeting with people, and a guy that wasn't even like a skinhead and stuff, he just showed up for a meeting with us, and he's like, I love punk rock music. You can tell by my hands. His hands were all bloody from a fight the night before.
Damn.
And we're like, nah, dude, we're not trying to start fights.
Well, and punk is such a broad term nowadays.
True.
Like, you go anywhere from Circle Jerks to fucking Green Day and Blink-182. Like, it's so many different things that it's kind of hard to be like, oh, we're a punk band, and then people are like, cool, what kind?
Which one?
So I kind of just decided to drop that term as a whole band.
Yeah.
Because it's just kind of...
It's true, very broad, yeah.
Yes.
Have you ever seen SLC Punk?
Yes, I love that movie, actually.
That's what I was thinking of with the, like, skinheads and...
Yeah.
The second one is really good.
There's a second one?
Yeah, it's on Netflix. Machine Gun Kelly is in it. He's actually...
Oh, it's like pretty new?
Yeah, it's newer. It's good.
Dang.
It's really good.
Does it make you cry at the end?
No.
The first one.
The first one is intense.
Yeah.
Fucked
me up. Man. Yeah. But
that's awesome.
Cool. Well, that's about all I got. Is there anything you guys want to go over?
You can think of anything?
I don't know. I feel like we kind of touch base on just about everything. What do you think?
I think we're cool.
Yeah.
New music coming out this year. Shows.
New music, shows.
Yeah, lots of new shows for sure.
Come see our shows. We're gonna be in Nashville. We're gonna be outside Nashville. We're playing some things in Alabama coming up. We'll probably be back in Chicago and the Northern Midwest again. I think we're looking at getting to Kentucky a little bit. All coming up. That's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for coming.
Thanks for having
us.
Yeah.
This is fun.
So links will be in the description, and that's it. We out.